LA.
JT.
And we're live.
And we are live on a Sunday. What's cracking?
Yes, on Grammy Sunday. So let's get into the recap of this week. You want to start us off with the first clip?
Absolutely. This week was very, very tragic. Even though Grammys is here, it's going to be coming on soon. This is definitely something that we're going to be talking about weeks from now. So let me just play this clip really fast.
So what you're seeing right here is the flight path of the DC helicopter and plane before the crash, and the near misses before that actually occurs. And there you go, right there. Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
So
you have any more on that crash?
What were we looking at? Like what that looks like to me? It looks like one train lost control.
Say it again.
It looks like that one train lost control. And
no plane. I mean, the helicopter lost control.
I mean, not train. It looks like that one plane just lost control. Like that plane almost missed one plane, right, coming in the direction, and then it kind of like swerved. Like, have we gotten a story yet on what was reported from the plane?
No, not as far as the like the black box or anything like that. You want to take us through some of the other clips for that event too?
Yeah, because this is crazy.
And listening right now to WTTG, we're now taking over to show you this. This is video from the Kennedy Center camera, and you see that explosion right there. That is the moment when this small plane apparently crashed into a helicopter. You see a fireball, and then, Marla, we see that plane head down towards the Potomac River.
Oh, what an image there. And according to our sister station in D.C., WTTG, that in fact is confirmed that a small aircraft collided with a helicopter. They were hearing that it is not a D.C. police helicopter, and colleagues on the ground say that several people were saying that it was a military helicopter. That information is not confirmed, but according to our sister station.
Well, it's confirmed now, but so like just seeing that fireball, like a lot, there must have been like burnt bodies, and then they're in the river for all that time. Like that, the decomposition must be kind of crazy and stuff. Like not even all the bodies have been dredged out, even 4 days later.
That's if they could find the bodies. And then all the casualties for whatever they hit going down. It looks like from some of the other things that I'm seeing, they might have hit. They didn't just drop into the water. Did they hit land and then, or they just fell right into the water?
No, they just fell right into the water.
Okay, let's play some more clips. Here's another one.
Is it? It's blue.
Oh,
what happened?
Oh my God!
Oh my.
All right. Stay calm, JT. I'm about to play another clip. Stay calm.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's crazy.
We need to get some more updated FAA, like airplane technology, like all that stuff we have now in the USA is very outdated. I think they said it's back to like World War II or something like that.
But what does that have to do with the plane crashing? We don't know why the plane crashed.
But they're saying, air traffic controllers, they should have been well out of the way of each other so that didn't happen.
Is there a way to control that? I mean, that's like two vehicles having an accident on the ground, right? We don't have traffic controls monitoring our activity. Is there a way to control two planes so quickly?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of, they've blocked off the airspace to all helicopters indefinitely now. So that's one way.
But in a split second event, how can you redirect the plane that's going how many miles per hour, heavy, carrying people, luggage?
Well, it's not about like turning the plane around. It's about an altitude issue. So it's like there's something at this altitude, you need to go higher or go lower, or they need to go higher or go lower.
So that's like pressing brakes on a car, right? How fast can you press the brakes on your car to avoid an accident?
I don't know. I don't drive.
Well, I drive, and even in like a split second decision, when you're trying to like press the brake on your car, you feel like, okay, I hit the brake, this accident isn't gonna happen, and then an accident happens because it's just force energy. It's just something that if that plane is saying I need to go lower, how quickly can that plane go lower? Or if a plane needs to go higher, how quickly can that plane go higher? I don't think it can't go as fast as a vehicle.
I'm like, it's not gonna go as fast as we call it, like you can't see it and then make an adjustment. Like you can't like be looking out at a windshield and be like, oh, I see a helicopter, and then just make an adjustment. It's one of those things where you have to be paying attention to your radar or what have you to make the correction.
Okay, so we know that plane was traveling fast, right?
Yeah.
It dodged one plane. It seems like the way that it dodged that one plane.
But I don't think I don't necessarily think that's that we were looking at the plane. I think that was the helicopter, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I think that was the helicopter that was having all the near misses and stuff. Because I'm like, why are you flying near an airport where all these planes are?
Listen, let's go back to 9/11, where these planes were in the air with all of this suspicious activity, and no one on the ground knew anything, and everyone else knew what was going on because you had passengers calling 911, you had passengers calling their family members. So we don't know what was happening on that plane to cause it to spiral out of control like that. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
But
9/11, you had planes.
I think it's more the helicopter than the plane.
I'm just saying that we don't know what caused that plane to lose control. You had two pilots.
Well, all right. So let's get into it. Commander-in-Chief, President, Donald Trump says it was DEI. It was it was a woman that was behind the controls of the helicopter. The air traffic control was understaffed, all of that. So, we kind of have a rough idea of where to start.
We have to leave the expertise to the experts. We have to Trump is the president of this country. He's not a pilot as far as I know. Let's just leave it to the experts to give us like feedback on what it is. If we had to listen to Trump speak on everything, we're in trouble. Let's leave this to the people that's going to investigate this, that's going to have answers for the families of the victims. Over 60 people died in that crash. So we're going to leave Trump out of this. Trump has a lot to say, and so does Al Sharpton. Let's play that clip from Al Sharpton about what he has to say regarding the crashes.
I just watched President Trump's press conference on the fact that we lost 67 or more people in this airline helicopter crash last night in Washington, D.C., a route that I and many travel many times. And to see this president use the occasion to step over the bodies being fished out of the Potomac River and use it to attack DEI, to attack former President Obama and former President Biden and former Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, is despicable and insensitive. Let us first mourn the deaths of those that were lost.
Absolutely.
What I got from that is that he says Potomac instead of Potomac. Which is the pronunciation you go with?
I'm not the expert, so I don't have an answer for you. I don't know. I know that there's a Potomac somewhere here in New York City, like upstate. There's a Potomac or Potomac something.
See,
here,
you're
so
saying Potomac. I say Potomac.
I mean, I can spell it. So maybe I can't spell it. I don't know, because phonetically I might have it wrong. But don't worry about that. You get the memo. You know what he's talking about. Why are we getting on Al Sharpton? Let him live. We know what he's talking about. He's talking about let's have some empathy. Come on, JT. Let's pray about it. Let's Potomac.
I'm like, Trump is gonna Trump. I'm like, it is what it is. I'm like, America voted and whatever.
4 years.
I'm like, there's not really much you can, you
4
can say.
years. We'll be grieving for 4 years. We are in grief for the next 4 years. That's it.
And the grief did not just stop there. It went, to the 2 days later. From Wednesday to Friday. We had another crash, and we started mourning and grieving all over again.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I know there's something being put together right now about these plane crashes and the possibility that someone is controlling the computers for these plane crashes. I know it's coming. Let's play another clip. Let's see what the people got. That's crazy.
And that was a medical jet on his way to Mexico.
You got Mexico right. That one I know is correct. Phonetically, Mexico is correct. You get 1 point. See, I'm on it.
So I'm like, I would expect Trump to come out and say something about that more than he's really on DI, so he jumps out in front of that one. Whereas I would have expected him to say something more about the second crash with it going to Mexico and saying that.
No, he's gonna blame Mexico, and he's gonna increase the tariff. But we'll talk about that in another clip. Let's play another one of these clips here.
exploded? What exploded?
I don't know what the fuck happened. There's 2 cars burned.
Okay.
Yeah. So like
That's-
we should have set this up better, but yeah. So the second plane crash happened in Philly, whereas the first one happened in DC off of Reagan National Airport. This second plane crash happened in a busy shopping district near a mall or what have you, and in Pennsylvania.
Listen, something's going on. I'm telling you, something's gonna come out that this is another worldly event. Trust me, this is all within 1 week, right?
Yeah. All within like 48 hours.
This is not normal. This is not normal. Come on. We can't act like this is something normal. There are more car accidents. There are more motivated.
For all the people who have a fear of flying and they say, there are more car accidents than there are plane crashes. Yeah, the optics are not really looking that way right now.
They are. I'm afraid of flying. I hate flying, but I do it because I'm not going to sit on a boat for 5 days. I went on a cruise for a week and lost my mind. I hate flying, but there are more motor vehicle accidents than there are plane crashes. But something is going on. The story's going to come out. And our government, federal, state, city, local, it's their job to keep us away from panic. Because if you have communities of people in panic, you're going to lose control. You won't have control of anyone. So not letting us know what's really happening, like how 9/11 was, like I watched that plane go into the building and I called my mother immediately, was like, you got to get to the house. That was not an accident. Meanwhile, everyone else, the people that knew what was happening with all these planes simultaneously. So there's going to be a bigger story to come out of this. I guarantee. If I had money and I wasn't broke, I would bet that there's going to be a bigger story coming out of these plane crashes. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have another plane crash coming up. Not that I wish that on anybody because there's casualty involved, but I would not be surprised if we have another plane crash. That
is LA's prediction and LA's prediction alone. I have no prior knowledge. I don't know nothing.
I don't have any prior knowledge, I'm not sitting around with the administrative cabinet, but I'm just, intelligent enough to see things. And if I could read the future, I'd be rich because I'd be hitting them lottery tickets like nothing, but that's not the case here. But this is very, very unusual behavior for anything in the sky. So we'll just see what happens. Condolences goes out to all of the families because this is traumatic. Even for the people that were just witnessing the crashes, that's trauma. That's like, they're not going to forget this stuff ever, So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of GoFundMes and things like that. I'll definitely contribute to the cause. I'll be looking out for some things to support people, anyone that I know that's close, actually reach out, if anybody needs support, you can always reach out to us and let us know. I'll definitely donate, very, very soon once they tell us how we can support all of these different things that are happening. So what else we got?
So, yeah. You were talking about trauma, and there's who has caused more trauma in the past couple of decades, as per the lawsuits that have been filed, than Diddy. So
it's not trauma; that's music business.
No, what is it? Little. What is it? What is the guy's name? Little Rod. Rod.
Rod.
He said he had
allegedly
he had trauma in his behind or whatever. He got groped.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Let's see what Day 26 got to say about Puffy.
So y'all got this album out now. Will y'all be touring? Will
Absolutely.
it be a tour? Okay. And does Did he recoup anything from
No.
y'all
No.
now? Y'all,
No.
so y'all are no more not
Well,
tied to this man
technically,
at all.
Did we talk about like our publishing?
Well, he still got our
Because he
publishing
still got
from
our
those albums.
Okay.
I thought he gave it back.
He didn't give us anything.
We didn't sign up.
We
He
didn't
got
even-
on there and said
he
he gave
ain't even
everybody
offer
the
us
publishing
shit.
back.
He
No,
sold
he
it to
didn't,
Sony.
and he can give it to us now. You know, make the calls or whatever. But
And,
we do.
and all
we,
the other money they sold.
yeah.
How much you think?
Because right now his kids got all that money. On our
his mom.
publishing, they say his kid's name and his mama.
No, yeah,
wow.
yeah. Every time I see it every month, I be like, man, these.
Man,
So the publisher is in his kids and mom. But so that time when he said I was giving all my artists back their publishing,
We wasn't one of the
He
groups
made
that offered
certain
that.
artists.
he sat right here and said it.
It's just like I have to be responsible and accountable for that for myself, and so that was done 2 years ago. So it's not like
2 years ago, you gave him the
2 years. Yeah, 2 years ago I had it signed, and then the lawyers had to work everything out. 'Cause it's not an easy thing.
He probably did some, but then
besides him?
I was talking to Aubrey during the time, and she was telling me a lot of things. I guess she had got offered the situation, and she was saying how it wasn't worth it anyway.
And she got
She had to sign. She had to
$33.
sign something saying
He said she got $33.
Talk about
Yeah,
that.
she
Talk about
had
that.
Talk about that,
$33.
right.
She got Aubrey O'Day got $33.
Yeah.
Man,
So that was an admission of guilt. It sounded like from Diddy. I got to take accountability and responsibility. Yeah. So
Yeah, that
and
sounds
he,
like
and he lied and was proven to be a liar, just like with the whole Cassie thing. I didn't do any of that stuff that's in the lawsuit, and then the videotape comes out. So yeah.
no. He didn't say all of the artists. He said I gave the artists back their publishing. He didn't say all of the artists.
So who are the artists, if not all of the artists?
Well, I remember when the Locks went up to the radio station and Puffy called in and was like, "Yo, a grown man,
That
you
was
have
like
to do
2
this
years ago,
on the
though.
radio. Come see me." Okay, but I'm saying that story is relatable to who? The older acts that he had or the newer ones? Like, what are we talking about? He said the artist. He didn't say all of the artists. Day 26 say he stole money. I don't like when artists say they stole money from me. You signed a contract. It's not
And when
stolen money. You
and
were a
when-
voluntary participant.
And to add on to that, as I said, the whole Locks thing, that was 20 years ago. So that was
I don't know
before
if-
day
if-
20. That was before
20.
day 26 signed. So they had the horror stories of signing away publishing and decided to do it anyway.
That wasn't 20 years ago that the Locks went on the radio. Wasn't
I
20 years ago?
100% guarantee.
Okay, so we're in year 2025. You're telling me that would have
was
been in
2000.
1995?
That was in 2005. I'm saying 20 years ago.
2005. In 2005, the Locks went on the radio, and then Jermaine Dupri called and was like, "Yo, y'all boys is hot. Come over to So Def." That was in 2005? No.
I don't know about the whole Jermaine Dupri thing. I don't know. anything about it.
See,
But
now
I can tell you that the whole them calling up the radio station, Angie Martinez, all of that, I can tell you that was 95 because
not 95, 2005.
I mean 2005.
Okay, so 2005. I think you were trying to make the point that day 26 came after that. So why'd they sign?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times these artists, when they get these contracts, there are people that are encouraging them to sign these contracts and paint a picture like, "Hey, I know the contract sucks, but imagine in a couple of years when you're popular and you can go and do this and you could do that." Like, same thing with TLC. Like, everything goes away. How do people steal something from you? I wish that they would have more transparency about how they got stuck into these contracts so that newer artists can have the information. They could be informed. They can make better decisions so the past doesn't repeat itself.
Because publishing is something totally separate. If I sign a recording contract, you own the masters, which is the recordings, but the publishing, no, you didn't put up money for me to write these songs. The song, you can't necessarily.
Right. Well, if they just got signed a contract to perform, then they're not entitled to publishing. Maybe they don't know the difference, or maybe they do. But if they know the difference, then why are they saying in the video he stole our publishing?
No, I'm saying if they it shouldn't have been a part of a single contract. It should have been like you have a recording contract and you have a publishing contract. To delineate, like you have Sony Records and then you have like Sony ATV as publishing.
Right, but what I'm saying is, did they get a recording contract or did they get a publishing contract?
It sounds like
they're different.
From what I've heard, like Bad Boy contracts is like an all-in-one.
A 360 contract? Okay.
Not a 360 in the sense of like, we take some money off your touring, we take some money off of your merch, we take some money off of like movies and stuff like that. Not 360 in the Leor Cohen's Def Jam, type of deal. Yeah.
Okay, so then what kind of deal do you think that Day 26 signed? That what's her name? Audrey got $50.
Oh, that was the whole that was her, if she signed whatever NDA and stuff like that to get her publishing back from Danity Kane.
Okay, so over time, your publishing is not as hot anymore because the songs get old and then they move into a different category of music with the labels in their attempt to continue to exploit the music. So we don't know, but they're saying they something got stolen from them. Nothing can be stolen from you.
It wasn't stolen if you sign it away and were compensated for it.
It wasn't stolen, and a lot of artists use that word pretty loosely. That they stole our publishing, but the agreement probably spells out Janice Combs, Kid Combs, Kids 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 Combs. So maybe they just misunderstood, and now they have a platform. They want to use their voice. So shout out to Day 26. I love them. They're talented as a group. I like Q. I think it was Q Parker that was with them. He put out some music independently. He did his thing. He was touring. I remember that.
There's a guy named Q, but I thought Q Parker was.
Oh no, Q was from 112. No, there's another Q that was in Day 26, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went on to do like independent stuff, and he had a hit song, and I think Tank wrote it. But shout out to Day 26. Let's see, if they could keep their publishing this time around. But they did say that he's not entitled to any of their publishing. But also, if they're still under contract, they would have needed clearance to release any new music as well.
Yeah, they're not still under contract because I'm like, Bad Boy has switched so many hands since then that whatever contract they had is probably void by now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Okay, so moving into our next story, what?
I said more entertainment news.
Yeah. We talked about Wendy Williams a couple weeks ago, so let's give a little update on her situation.
Wendy, your dad is turning 94 in February, and he's up there in age, and I know you want to go to Miami to see him and celebrate his birthday because you don't know how many more there are going to be.
Right, exactly.
That must be important for you.
It's extremely important. It's extremely important to see my dad for his birthday, and that is a family thing. It's not just a me thing, I would wish that along with celebrating my dad's 94th birthday, that we as a family, we come together in peace and harmony. That's what I wish for my dad.
So shout out to the Breakfast Club on the previous clip and Shade Room and TMZ on this one. Make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe, keep your notifications on the next video. Let's get into it. What did you think about what Wendy had to say?
I still feel the same way from the last time that we talked about Wendy. It's sad. It's a sad situation. you know, I believe that people should be empowered and not powerless. So her ability to articulate herself now is how things should be handled now. You know, people get down. You want to make an assessment of where they are at that time. But currently today, I think that they need to do something different. She shouldn't be locked away like that. Her father's still alive. Let her go visit her father. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah, they agreed to that, but now they've told her no more talking to the media. So she got one, but got cut off on the other. So this will probably be the last, public appearance.
But how do you take away someone's ability to speak to who they want to speak to? Isn't that a violation of the Constitution?
That works if you are liberated. She's not liberated. The courts have taken away her liberty and put that in the possession of the court-appointed conservator.
All right. So, again, I think it's sad because I believe that people should be empowered. I don't care how mentally incapacitated you are assessed to be. Everybody should have power. You can assist people. I mean, but she seems to be clear-headed now. We might have seen some things early on that she looked like she was mentally, or not even mentally, just physically unwell. There are times if a person is physically unwell that they can't perform their best mentally. What do you expect to get out of a person if they're physically ailing? Like, that's not fair to me. I mean, I just see it as a problem. But she gets to see her father. He's 94. I think we just got to take it one day at a time with Wendy and just continue to cheer her on and support her. And the more that she's connected, reunified with family, the better it's going to be for her mental and her physical health. So, okay, if they say, well, no more media. All right, Wendy, 1 out of 2. No more media, but you get to be around your pops. Manage that right now.
Well,
take what you can get.
Visit.
Yo, that one-time visit can change a person's whole psychology. That's all we need sometimes is that reconnection with the people that was in our corner.
Yeah, but they're just giving her something to take more away.
But listen, I would prefer for her to be around her father. She's pleading that she wants to see her father for his 94th birthday. So let her ride out with that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have a problem with that. It's just what happens the day after the visit.
Can't worry about that. Can't worry about that. Let's worry about the next day. She might feel even more empowered, have more clarity, and come up with a better plan on how to shake them, get them off her tail. But that family reunification and connecting with people that love you and support you, it does a lot for the brain. So if that's what she needs right now, she might bounce back to the Wendy Williams show. We don't know, but right now she needs to be connected to family and people that love her. So let's give her that right now. And then let's work on all the other things. We just have to stay present and be patient for Wendy Williams. Shout out to Wendy Williams. Salute to Wendy Williams.
As we were just talking about in the last story about making bad deals and then having sort of say buyer's remorse, I'm like, you got to wonder if she looked at all the terms of, she's giving up a big thing to get this. It's a sentimental thing, but it's something that after that particular day, it's gone. So, it has value. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right deal, that she sacrificed everything to get it, so to say.
Here's the thing. They told her she can't talk to media, but they didn't take her phone away, right? Did they take away her phone? She can call out. The last time we checked, she can call out, but people can't call her. Listen, there's ways around this stuff. You don't have to get bullied. There's ways around it. If she got people in her corner that's supporting her, there's ways around it, and anybody could be bought. There's a price on everything. All she needs
You
is one
talking about
person.
people can be bought? She's asking for. She has a GoFundMe asking people to pay for her to get an attorney. So I'm like, how is she gonna buy anyone?
Listen. We are Team Wendy Williams. She got family, she got friends, she got celebrity friends. All she needs is one person on the inside to help her break
friends. Like,
listen,
she's made celebrity enemies.
Listen, no, everybody don't hate her. It was just the puffies in them. Just the puffies in them. Everybody doesn't hate Wendy. She got her fan base is huge. How you think she bounced from radio to her own show? Her fan base is huge. If she put a GoFundMe and everybody gave her $100, that's just globally. She's good. Somebody could be bought. That's all I'm saying. There's a hustle everywhere. Somebody could be bought. All she needs is one person in that facility, and she out of there. I wish I was working there. I'll take a check. I'll take some cash to get up out of there. You know, it's a hustle.
It's not like it's a prison where, like, okay, you escape and then that's it. Like, they still have your money.
Listen, she could right now. She don't care about the money. She cares about reunification with her pops. Her father is important to her. She doesn't want to miss that moment that he dies, or she never got a chance to see him. And we don't know when the last time she saw him. I remember seeing footage that she was able to go to her son's graduation, right? And her father was there, right? She needs her father in her life, so let her have it. It's not about money. That just goes to show you that once you strip people down and they don't have money, all you have is your heart. Once the money's gone, you have your soul, your heart. Nothing matters. Money doesn't matter. And we're watching this in real time. Like, yo, money doesn't matter. All that is gone. But she gonna bounce back. You're gonna see.
I'm like, she described what that place is like. She calls it a luxury prison or something like that.
Right.
There's old people and stuff like that. So what does joy look like for people like that? Like, can you force some joy on them? Can you, like, what is too far? Because I'm like, in this next story, you have a woman who's dropping it low, popping it open, in a facility, packing it up on people that can't necessarily go out to an establishment to get that. So she's bringing it to them, and now she's being charged with a crime for,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. We got Wendy Williams, and then we got what's coming next. Watch
getting
the
it
clip.
popping on her patients.
You just don't do this to people. You don't.
This Atlanta area healthcare worker seen on TikTok dipping it low on her patient's forehead. Patients, you can see, are living with disabilities.
This is not a laughing matter.
And with the backlash,
it's not what it is. Trust and believe.
She had plenty to say on social media, but police weren't buying it. A breaking update. She has just been charged. And when the Shade Room started looking into the so-called nurse and who she works for, you may be shocked.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigate.
All right, shout out to the Shade Room. But yeah, people with disabilities need lap dances too.
You better stop. Listen, that is unacceptable. That's crazy. That is wild. That is wild. What was she thinking? And she put
she was trying to give happiness and joy to those that aren't physically able to necessarily have it. She's like, if you were, I don't know, a paraplegic, quadriplegic, something like that, hey, wouldn't you? You're telling me you wouldn't want to lap dance?
Are you out of your mind? We are live, people. Thanks for supporting us. This is our last episode ever. We are just crashed out. JT has just crashed out on this episode. Listen, that chick, she needs to be put where Wendy Williams is, and she can replace Wendy Williams. Like, yo, that is crazy. How are you twerking on a client's head? Client, patient, whatever. How are you twerking on your head?
Ask for it.
Listen, even if he asks for it, you are a worker. You are at your job. Take pride in your work. Like, not pride like what she doing. She might have been a stripper. We don't know. But what I'm saying is no boundary. Yo, whoever that was, it don't even look like they enjoyed it. Like, they just sitting there. Like, you don't see their face, but like,
I'm like,
they don't look like they were cooperating. What are you talking about? No. And she
their
got locked
faces
off.
were blurred
Locked up,
out.
and they
You
snatched her
couldn't see
wig. So
facial
she's good.
expression,
Yo.
and they're disabled, so the rest of their body wouldn't be moving anyway.
So what's the point? They ain't even got no money to pay her nothing. Like,
If they only had feeling above the neck, if they're quadriplegic, for them to feel something, she has to drop it low on their forehead.
Yo, she crashed out. She's tweaking, whatever you want to call it. Yo, she deserves to be locked up. That's crazy. Like, it's no way. It's no way. If I was a family member of one of these clients, first of all, we getting a big check because everybody's getting sued. But I'd be waiting for her outside. I will find out, you want to crash out on something, Ma? I got something for you. Yo, she would have to get a beat down for that. Imagine her twerking on my grandfather, my father. Like, yo, you crazy? Like, yo,
Right,
that's
so,
wild.
but I'm like, all right, so if you say she should get jail time, she gets jail time, right? She's not eligible for community service because that would put her at the same place, probably.
She could go in a park and clean the park. They got community service in the park. Listen, I have a cousin that when he's driving on the street, he throws garbage out just so that there's a schedule for the prisoners who are on work release to come out and have a job. He throws stuff out on the street. Like, yeah, they got to have a schedule to come out. If there's no garbage out here, they don't get to come out. So she can go out and clean the community. But you don't twerk on somebody's head, like, yo, and she's posting it. Like, that's crazy.
Now, I want some people in the comments to, what is worse, throwing out trash on the freeway, highway, streets, littering, and expecting people on community service to pick it up, or dropping it low on those that need it?
Okay, we can't confirm that the patient consented and said, I need her to twerk on me. But we can confirm that these individuals that are in work release programs, they need work. They need to come out. So there's a difference there. But, we want to hear the comments anyway. But definitely twerking on somebody's head and they didn't consent. She has no paperwork. She has no paperwork where they consented to her twerking. I mean, it looked like she was doing a good job.
She was fully clothed, right? She's fully clothed. There's no fluid transaction, anything like that, right? But if you leave trash out on the street, that goes to like the rat population and all that stuff. And New York City has way too many rodents, so you're causing another problem. It stops right there with her dropping it.
The trash gets picked up. The patients, she's out of here. She's chucked. I mean, you sound like a fan. Did she do a good job at twerking? I don't know. You sound like a fan, JT. She's out of here. She's tweaking. She's twerking and now she's tweaking. She crashed out. She's a crash dummy. Nah, it's a wrap for her. And those family members need to be thanking her because they're gonna get some money. But then I would be waiting for her. Even if I would be waiting for them to give her bail, I would rock out. I would rock her. I would rock out with her. Like, yo, Ma, you was twerking on my father's head, my grandfather's head. Like, yo, Ma, what you doing?
You need to watch this show Landman, where they take a nursing home full of old people to a strip club. Like, this is 2025.
Okay.
Old people and disabled people need to, have horny times as well, I guess.
Listen, there's a documentary on Netflix where this male individual has been he's considered completely disabled. He cannot talk. he can't feed himself. He has to be bathed. He has to be clothed and everything. And they had a worker that in some kind of like program, and his older brother knew, well, it wasn't a worker, it was a teacher, I think at a college or something like that. I'm gonna recap this the next time, but the brother thought that this lady who worked with other disabled individuals and teaching them how to use these devices to, you know, use letters to spell, she was so convinced that this man could spell and that they were actually in a romantic relationship. And she began to have sexual intercourse with this man and take him out places and lay him on a floor where he would have bruises on his back. It was a whole big thing. I'm gonna get that for the next live that we do, and we're gonna further have a conversation about if somebody is disabled, are they a victim or are we helping them when we do things like this? I'm gonna get the documentary for you.
All right.
We're gonna further this conversation.
I guess, you know, it's kind of
it's all about workers. The healthcare workers is working. They twerking and working.
Yeah. So going into this next story, you know, well, I should say she was arrested, and so was the person in this next story. Let's take a listen.
Carly Gregg shot her mother to death in their home. She creeps through the house, a handgun behind her. Moments later, the sickening sound of gunshots. Then she coolly sits in the kitchen and lures her stepfather into an ambush by texting him from her mother's phone. "When will you be home, honey?" Her stepfather testified about what happened when he returned.
When I opened the door to the kitchen there, gun went off in my face.
Wounded in the shoulder, he frantically called 911. Police body cam video shows Carly appeared calm and composed when she was arrested. Carly wept openly as the jury recommended a sentence of life without parole.
Yo.
No, that's just unfair right there. I'm like, life without the possibility of parole. She's not even an adult yet. Like, aren't there like certain, like when you're a certain age, like you get, you know, get out of jail free card?
Well, let's talk about it. In New York, 16, you get tried as an adult for major crimes. That was a major crime in New York.
Yeah, so, but I'm like, she's 14. So
okay, but there's an exception to that rule too, because it's murder. And it's capital murder, first degree. You have to show the intent, right? The video clearly shows the intent. It wasn't an accident, so you wouldn't get murder too. You wouldn't get manslaughter. That's murder. So with the exception of that, she would be allowed to be tried as an adult. But there's a rollback.
Wait. So you're telling me, like, I'm the one, the criminal justice major, but I'm saying, just for argument's sake, right? You're saying that it doesn't matter.
You're the one with the what?
Huh?
You say you're the one with the what?
The background in criminal justice, like the criminal justice major.
So am I wrong about that?
No,
that
but
CP,
all right, so
am I wrong about that PL?
But I'm like, so the way that you're articulating it is that it doesn't matter how old, like the, so to say, the maturity level that you have, right? It's about the particular crime that you do. So it's like, hey, you know, you don't kill anybody in the first degree if you joyride a car, you know, that's okay. But if you murder somebody, we'll charge you as an adult. Like,
well, murder is a very specific charge in the PL, correct? The action has to be very specific to even charge it. The DA can't even charge it unless you have.
But I'm like, you could easily say, you know, they didn't have the capacity or the wherewithal to know the intent, to know what they were doing because they're so young.
Correct, but that's where you can throw in an insanity plea. It didn't stop her team from doing that.
No, I'm not saying an insanity.
Where's the insanity plea?
No, there's no insanity plea. I'm just saying, just strictly on the fact of her age, she wasn't old enough to have the intent or
You have
you know
No, that's not
to
necessarily
know
true. You have
right
to,
from wrong or what she was doing or like the
From the-
consequences or severity of it.
from the age of 10 in New York, a kid can consent to certain things in court from the age of 10. She's how old? 14?
Yeah.
Okay. She knows how to use a gun at 14, right? We don't even know what state this is in, right? But in New York, I have to use New York as an example. From the age of 10, a kid is allowed to use their voice in court, right? 14, 16, you get tried as an adult for some major crimes, right? At 14, she's 2 years under 16. Her team would have had to do a very good job in articulating, doing a 730, making an assessment that she is ill fit to be tried under these circumstances. Then she'll get a CPL that's going to say she's mentally incapacitated. She could ride it out for the next 15 years in a psychiatric facility. And then she'll be transferred back into society. But it doesn't sound like they did that. There might be an appeal pending. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm like, shout out to Inside Edition for the clip and hit that like, share, notification bell, leave us a comment, get at us in the chat, all of that. Kids are crazy nowadays.
She's done. That video was, I thought she was gonna kill the dogs because she was just going all in. She just sat there. She was trying to hide the gun from the camera, like we don't hear the gunshots going off and hear the mother screaming. She crashed out too, but she got.
Like if you live there, you know that there's cameras there. You should have turned them cameras off.
Yeah, she planned it. She just didn't plan it well enough because her brain is not matured.
Exactly. That's
Not
why she should get.
together.
That's why it shouldn't be. I'm not saying she shouldn't get punishment. I'm just saying it shouldn't be for life.
Okay, she's 14. Half of 14 is 24. The brain fully develops between 24, 25 to 30. So she's halfway there with completing the task. She killed her. She tried to hide the gun. She didn't turn the cameras off. She left a digital footprint with texting the father on the cell phone, knowing that the mother's already dead, right?
Yeah.
The ME is going to say the mother died at this time. The text came in at that time. She couldn't fully plan it out because her brain hasn't fully developed, but she has enough brain power to plan it that far. And she might have had help from her friends. And we don't know the behind the scenes story. We don't know if she was being abused. We don't know if her power was taken away from her, if her voice was taken away from her. We don't know, but no one cares about that when it comes to kids. They just think that a kid just shouldn't shoot an adult. There's no reason that a kid should kill an adult. And I'm not condoning it, but I'm sure there's some appeals on the way. So, it's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
And she gotta pray about it.
So
she really gotta pray about it.
So why don't you set up this next clip that you
So I got a question for you. How long? There are people that chew gum and swallow it, right? So on Tamara Hall's show, they had this thing. I have a question for you. How long do you think it takes for gum to digest in the stomach? Give me like time, day, week, month, hours, whatever, years. What do you think?
I don't know, like a week or something like that.
Why do you think it takes a week for chewing gum to digest in the stomach?
I don't have a reason why.
Just
figured that it would take
it takes a week to go.
It takes a few days or something. I don't know.
Okay, let's watch this and see.
My body composition analysis right now makes it that you're 50% gum right now. Not medically speaking.
So the question is, people say that it takes 7 years for gum to digest if you swallow it. So by those numbers, I'm in bad shape.
And we see fact or fiction from our audience. Fam, what do we got?
7 years. Okay.
Okay.
The majority of people say that is fiction. So, Dr. Mike, what happened?
We have an experiment to prove it.
Okay.
A very accurate scientific experiment.
All right.
This is inside of our bodies.
That's my intestine?
This is your stomach and intestine.
Okay.
It's actually made up of the same ingredients. Here we go.
Wow.
We need safety. This is going to be explosive.
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
So I'm chewing the gum that I just had before I came out. I swallowed it right before I walked through the door.
Here's scientifically.
Okay,
here's what
Jesse,
happens.
you received the gum. What happens to it?
It lands in the stomach, and everyone's like, it's stuck. But actually, it's indigestible, so the stomach can't do anything with it. And what does it do? Peristalsis, and poops it out.
Oh, God!
So,
like I said, under a week.
He didn't say how many days it takes to pass through. He just says it doesn't get digested. But it's definitely not 7 years. I remember as a kid, I was told don't chew gum because your stomach is going to release the acids and there's nothing in the stomach and that creates ulcers. That's what I was told by adults as a kid. And then I learned later on that the stomach doesn't release acid unless there's something actually in the stomach.
See, this is what happens when you grow up as a child before Google.
This is what happens when adults think they know everything and don't know nothing. And they just tell you whatever to stop you from making that popping sound with your chewing gum. That's all it is. Yeah, don't chew the gum because, it's going to give you ulcers in your stomach because, the acid, if it doesn't go in your stomach, there's nothing that's going to be released. So that's just adults that don't know nothing. That's all that is. Again, trying to tell kids what to do, but you can't do that because these kids got guns now. So let them chew their gum. But yeah, I thought that was a nice little trivia question for you. So now, speaking of digestion, what you think about this Popeyes and Don Julio?
Wait.
What?
Yeah.
You were saying something.
Yeah, but
I said speaking of digestion.
Yeah, guy.
I have a brain fart. Go ahead. JT.
Yeah, so we're about to get out of here. We only have a couple more stories left. Make sure that you hit that like, comment, subscribe, share, notification bell. And I was gonna try to bring in the ASAP Rocky trial before we went to the Don Julio, but which one do you want to take first?
The ASAP Rocky. Listen, we need a full episode for ASAP Rocky. That case is crazy. The testimony on that is so long.
Yeah, give me the initial impression on the past week and a half that's been going on.
I feel like the friend was looking for a come up. I feel like he thinks he wasn't being treated fairly. He mentioned things like, well, if somebody have you hanging around them for hours, and his first video was shot in my house, and I've known him since we were 17 years old, and wouldn't you feel a certain way? And then the text messages where he's like, oh, I'm gonna get his money. I think that he was feeling salty. It's like that when you have an entourage, and hip hop is always about the give back, and people don't want you moving on without them, and their money becomes your money, especially in the beginning when you have company around you and you got your team and everybody's like rooting for you. And he's like, yo, man, he was like, yo, I'm going to get his money. And he's texting other people saying, I'm going to get his money. And it's just crazy. And they're asking him questions. They're showing him text messages. He's like, I don't understand your question. The judge had to intervene a lot. I got exhausted. I felt like I was on the stand getting questioned. It was so crazy. So it's so much going on with it. I don't think ASAP Rocky should testify. I think that
so in a nutshell, you're basically saying Relly was ASAP Relly was looking for ASAP Rocky to be more or less be his daddy, because a grown man looking for another grown man to pay his bills.
I think I think they had a situation where he was probably pressing him about money and stuff like that, and then the outcome was a gun was presented. I mean, he went as far as
alleged gun, because it was it's supposed to be a prop, isn't it?
It was a prop.
That's what Rocky said.
Yeah, it was a prop, but a prop shoots pellets, right? Look at Baldwin, right? Didn't he shoot a prop gun that was supposed to be a real gun? Prop guns have casings. So what happened was he picked up the casings. He went and got gloves and used a pen to pick up the bullet casings. Put them in a plastic bag.
You can't play victim and CSI at the same time. Like,
he was playing detective, CSI, medical examiner, prosecutor, everything. He went and scooped up the casings because he knew they had fingerprints and DNA on them.
But that just goes to show you how much the cops didn't give a shit. Because they was like, nah, we all right on that. It's like, all right, I'll go and get it for you then.
Well, he went to the precinct with his attorney, you know what I mean, to make the complaint report. So someone took the complaint report, but it's just that he had it all set up. And I think that sometimes if ASAP Rocky allegedly did actually pull out a gun, he gave him a window to set it up for a bigger lick. And he's like, yo, I'm going to get his money now.
But
maybe he was trying to extort ASAP Rocky. And he's like, yo, if you don't give me no money, I'm going to go to the precinct. Huh?
When you see the bruises on his knuckles, it's like, how are you stopping a bullet with your hand? And like, bullets don't shoot sideways. So it doesn't make very much sense.
It's his narrative, his story. He's allowed to tell it however he's gonna tell it. They just have to deal with the evidence. And part of his discovery.
To shoot him.
Listen, even if I tell you to shoot me, you can't break the law and shoot me because we from the streets. You gotta be more intellectual.
Why are you telling somebody to shoot them and then gonna take the stand when they shoot you?
You're right. If I'm like, yo, do it, then I'm not scared. You know, I'm ready to die today. That's how we are in the hood, right? I'm not gonna shoot you because you're telling me to shoot you, because I would think you got something else going on in your mind that you want me to shoot you. And that's what he had. He was like, yo, I'm about to get his money. He shot me. I'm about to eat. And he probably tried to extort ASAP Rocky, like, yo, if you don't give me no money, I'm gonna go to the precinct. And ASAP Rocky, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the only reason why his plea deal is for 6 months, right? As opposed to him facing 24 years. But he can't take the plea because he knows that Relly's going to use it against him in the civil suit because he's already teed off the civil suit.
Yep.
And
that's why he has to go to trial.
Rihanna showing up there like, no, you're not pleading guilty to nothing. Like, you're not gonna. You're a rapper, but you're not Young Thug. You're not pleading out to anything because he's not getting any of my, makeup money.
Are they married? They're married, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm like, I don't know. These celebrities be getting married in secret and stuff, and I really don't care enough to look at the public documents. So.
But listen to what you have to say, right? If he pleads, it's like, yo, I'm gonna let the jury decide. I'm gonna let the judge give me my penalty, right? If he doesn't plead, he's facing what, 20 years?
24.
He's facing 24.
But the prosecution is recommending 12.
Listen, I would take the 12. Even if he pleads guilty, he's still gonna pay out the civil suit. That civil suit is gonna happen even if they throw out the criminal. That civil suit is still gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, but I think he's gonna win the civil suit because that was a rise to the preponderance of evidence, I don't think he shot him. It looks like he.
You don't need beyond a reason.
I know
you don't
it,
need,
but I'm saying
you don't need beyond a reasonable doubt in a civil suit.
It's preponderance of evidence. I don't think it's gonna raise to the preponderance of evidence. It looked like he scraped his knuckles on the ground or something on a playground. Like this is not a probable.
He got probable cause.
Probable cause for what? Probably like the security camera footage is grainy as hell. All you can see is blobs. You can't even make out who is who and what the image is. Like, there's not a lot of evidence.
Okay, so then what
was tampered with?
So then what evidence
brought it in?
Okay, so then what evidence does the DA have to go forward with the charges? What evidence did they use to go forward with the charges? Why they didn't dismiss it from the precinct level?
They're just going on Relly's testimony. Like if Relly
testimony as a witness.
If Relly didn't testify, there would be no case.
There would be no case. Right. So all they have is testimony from Relly. They don't have no evidence. They're not using the casings with DNA. They're not doing none of that. They don't have no gun. They don't have anything. Is that what you're saying?
They do not have the gun. They do not have the prop gun. They have the cases that Relly provided. So I'm like,
right.
It's all circumstantial.
But you could win with a circumstantial case. You could win because all you got to do is have positioning in the mind of the jurors.
And I'm sure that the juries just see Relly as being bitter.
I see him as being he's trying to get a come up because he's telling that in his communication with other people. And I would just say he's not guilty because there's no proof that he actually shot him. If there was actual proof, I don't want to have a mind frame of circumstantial evidence. Unless you have like blood on the ground, car is there, but the person is missing, their phone, the last call was to 911. That's circumstantial that I could rely on. But something like this, I would be at the jury like, yo, y'all already know my position, so don't include me in y'all decision. Y'all already know I'm saying not guilty. There's like real circumstantial evidence that you would have for a case, and it's just like BS. So I would be sitting there like, yo, you know, y'all already know my position on this. This is not strong enough circumstantial for me. I'm not for it. I'm against it. So, you know, we gonna either have a mistrial or what y'all gonna do because y'all already know my position. Yeah, I've been on jury duty before. I'm like, nah, I'm not sending him to prison. They were like, what? I was out of there. I'm not doing it. I'm not. No.
And if you were on the trial and you did do that, you'd walk out expecting a gift card to Fendi Cosmetics.
Listen, I'm not. And I'm good in law, so we're not gonna do that. Like I said, the circumstantial here, it's gonna get dismissed because of, as you say, there's no strong enough evidence to plant in the mind of the jurors. There's nothing. So, but the DA went ahead with a witness because it's People's State versus Rocky. It's not even this dude. They're just he's a celebrity. They're trying to like get a win, you know, for the team. But you know, I think the jury is gonna dismiss it.
Yeah.
I think the jury's gonna dismiss it. But it's a long trial, so we could recap that for the next couple of weeks, JT.
No trial is considered long after I sat through all of that YSL trial. Like every trial seems short compared to that.
And then he was like, Your Honor, I'm gonna take it. You could have did this in the first week. You could have did that in the first week. Like,
no. That's you're doing what everybody else does. That didn't end the trial. That ended it for him. But the trial still kept going even after that because there was more people that was on that case. You had SB and the other guy.
But he was the one that everybody was the most interested in because he was the leader. So it's like, yo, dog, like you could just take the hit for everybody. If you're gonna plead like this, let everybody else rock. It was just like very, very long. And then for him to be like, you know, Your Honor, I'm really a good guy. You know, some of these things is my fault. You know, I could have really did better. What?
No.
Oh my God.
Being in Wright Street for 2 years 2.5 years. Yeah, he was like, I just want it to be over with. Because the prosecution was playing games, they would not rest their case.
But guess what? If he really thought that he was innocent, that's what the power is about. Like, stand your ground. If you think you're innocent, don't go out, don't fold.
No.
The thing is, he was losing money.
That sound nice until you're sitting in prison for 2.5 years just on trial and is indefinite. Like, that sound nice, but
well, listen, he was losing money.
You will do anything to get out of there.
He's a millionaire, so he's okay.
Who's to say
he's okay with a charge? He's not going to not get employment. He's employed already, so he wasn't really losing nothing.
Say it again.
He is. He's a millionaire. He still got his publishing. They were still playing his music on the radio. Gunna is still signed to him. They started pushing Gunna's music commercially. He's a millionaire. His money didn't go anywhere so fast. His money didn't go anywhere so fast. He's just saying, I've been to jail before, whatever.
That cost a few $1 million.
It did. That's fine. He has the money. He got money and he got friends that got money. You think they was gonna let him suffer through all them?
You count that man's pockets with all them kids he got.
Listen, we don't know if his company's making the money. The child support is gonna be lower because his salary is gonna be very low, while the company gets the rest of the money. I know the numbers, so that's another one. He just was like, yo, let me go out here and get back to the music. Let me go get these shows. If he thought he was really innocent, I wouldn't have folded. I wouldn't have folded. Because whatever time he had, if he was going to be found guilty.
You have no concept of like how bad it could be. Like, people say that, like,
it's really
when you see
bad.
like the Central Park, the exonerated 5 from the Central Park 5, like, then you could put you under duress and make you say or plead out to a lot of different things. Like, there's so many people that have pled guilty to crimes they had anything to do.
Right. Well, I just know that I have my own ideals about people folding under pressure. So that would be a whole nother episode. But I think that if you really didn't do it, somebody's standing in front of you and they have you that shook up for you to say that you did a crime. Even as a teenager, I think teenagers is different because the parents have to be the ones to support you, and we talking in the 90s, right? So imagine what it was like for Black people to not want to go against law enforcement. You ain't gonna have my kid in the jail talking to them and I'm not there. My kid, don't say nothing. We're not trying to plead no case. But even in the 90s, we're just not aware of how bad the system can be for us. You're not even supposed to speak. Even now, we know don't speak to the cops without an attorney. Don't say nothing. What do you have? If you go on YouTube right now, you have people talking to the police without an attorney. Even to this day. Because there's a mindset that, oh, wait, if I'm cool with them, they're going to look out for me. It's just a mindset that we have when it comes to the justice system, criminal justice system. It doesn't work for us. And even though we know that, subconsciously, when we're in their space, we fold because we don't want to get beat up or killed, because that's your fear of getting beat up or killed while you're in their custody. That's what you're thinking about. That's it. That's my strong opinion. You're thinking about being killed, tortured while you're in their custody from the time they put you in handcuffs and put you in a police car. That's what you're thinking about. So that's a whole nother.
Well, I'm like, he was eating a whole lot of processed food. Like, he was eating the commissary, the honey buns and the Cheetos and stuff. And I'm sure one of the reasons that he wanted to be out is for your next story. He wanted to get himself some of that, them Popeyes and the Don Julio.
I mean, I'm sure he wanted to. Listen, he's not afraid of prison. He's just like, yo, what deal can I make? He went asking for a deal. Yo, what deal can I make? because he's gonna plead guilty. He's not gonna not have employment. He don't have to check off the conviction box. But he was like, yo, what deal can I make? Even if I gotta pay something, what deal can I make? And they gave him the best deal. And he took it. I would have taken it too. But again,
you would have taken the deal, but yet you're telling me that he's wrong.
I'm saying that as a regular person, I'm not, but he's a celebrity. So he has options. I don't. I'm not checking off a convicted felon box nowhere. You crazy? And I'm going to sue y'all for wrongful arrest and conviction. But he has resources. He's a celebrity. He could plead guilty.
But you can't sue for wrongful conviction if he hasn't even been convicted yet. He didn't want to wait until the conviction.
You could be sued for a wrong. You could sue for wrongful arrest altogether.
Yeah, arrest, but not conviction.
Well, you can sue for wrongful arrest against the police officers and the DA for carrying the charges, not the judge. Judges are immune from anything, but you can sue the police officers, the city department, and the DA.
Judges are not immune from the stuff that Judge Glanville was doing, having secret ex parte meetings and stuff. Like, nah. But
yeah, but that's a meeting. That's not his decision, you know. So I'm just saying that a regular person, you don't want to plead guilty to that because that's your life. After that, like what chapter happens after you plead guilty? For him, he's a celebrity.
All right, so
he could bounce right back. He got money. He got resources. But yeah, we'll check into this ASAP Rocky case because it's gonna be a minute. See how it goes.
All right, so you want to jump into the next
so what else we got? How we closing this out? Yeah, we're gonna close this out. What you think of the Super Bowl? I'm not a Super Bowl. I'm not even a football chick, so I don't know who's playing. I know it's two teams, but how do you feel about the Super Bowl, and what's your favorite meal? Do you watch the Super Bowl? What do you eat during Super Bowl? What do you drink and eat during Super Bowl?
Nothing, because I don't really watch it except for the halftime show, which, you know, like the past close to a decade has been, you know, minority populated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we heavy into the I could say this now. I'm not that big of a Kendrick Lamar fan, but you know, I'm like,
what? Oh hell no! How do you not like Kendrick?
I said I'm not that.
You not like us.
No, I'm like he got a couple of bops, but you know he's not top like 5 or anything like people are saying. Like what? I'm
yo,
like,
he is today's top 5. No, you are not like us. You are not like us.
I definitely am not. But SZA is gonna be there, and I'm here for SZA.
All right, did you go see the movie, Mr. Music Review? The movie's crazy.
What movie?
Her movie. You gotta see the
SZA
movie. You gotta
has
check
a
out.
movie?
Oh yes, since you are a SZA fan, you didn't know about the movie?
No.
You're not like us. You are not like us. She has a new movie, and she's going on tour with Kendrick Lamar. A complete setup. Her whole team set her up. She's gonna be good for the next year. Her whole team set it up perfectly. Yep.
But I'm like, to make it the best concert and to shut you people up that are complaining about Drake and his little lawsuit against the record label, not Kendrick, the record label, right? She should bring him and Sexy Red out to do Rich Baby Daddy.
Nah, nope. She got to stay with the home team. She got to stay with the home team. This is football. She got to stay with the home team. Nope. No way. She has to stay with the home team. She has to stay with the home team on this one because she got a tour, and that tour will crash out if she make one. You know, them ticket sales will go down if she play herself.
She's not a rapper. She's an R&B singer. So
yeah, but she's with TDE, and that's all we know, that she repping them.
Kendrick Lamar is not even with TDE.
She can't bring out nothing else.
Kendrick Lamar is only listen. He finished.
You know him from TDE. You know him from TDE. Come on. We know he's not, but his roots is there. That's what you know him for. You know him for that.
The Locks have roots with Bad Boy, but I don't think that they're going to war and having alliances based on the fact of them being from Bad Boy.
We're talking about the fans. We're not talking about the enemy. We're talking about the fans. He's still aligned with TDE. SZA is signed to TDE, right? It's still family. It makes sense. It still makes sense. His business might have been structured differently, but it still makes sense. What are you talking about? You're not like us. You are not like us. You are not like us. But anyway, is popcorn allowed to be eaten at the games? I know chicken is definitely a go-to for football, right? Chicken is definitely a go-to. I know drinking is definitely a go-to. So let's pop out this video.
Louisiana kitchen, because the Super Bowl is in Louisiana.
Of course. Watch this clip, real.
Don Julio and Popeyes just made a baby. To celebrate the Super Bowl, Popeyes and Don Julio are releasing some tasty tequila-infused items. But here is where the marketing genius comes in. They're releasing exclusively for only 5 cities, and it's only available for 1 day only. So
that got shortened, but can you guess the cities that they're running the campaign for?
Philly, New York, Louisiana, and where does the Chiefs play at? Whatever state that is.
Yep. And one more. You got one more, Mr. You Not Like Us. You got one more. One more city.
East Coast, West Coast.
East Coast.
Atlanta, Georgia?
Close, but no cigar. Miami. So from January 31st all the way through February 9th, it's going to be in all those markets. But then after that, it's going to be in the flagship Louisiana Popeyes in New Orleans. So you got New York, Miami, New Orleans, Philly, Kansas City. So that's it. New Orleans, Kansas City, Philly, Miami, and New York. And it's infused in the drinks and the chicken. And you got to what?
So a few years ago, Popeyes comes out with a chicken sandwich that causes people to get aggressive, fight, do anything for a chicken sandwich. Like people are acting like the chicken sandwich had crack in it or something, right? And now you say, hey, we're going to put some liquor into it. And yeah, that's not, there's nothing that's going to go wrong with that.
Yo, it's black people. You know how we do at Super Bowl? They're feeding right into the culture. Give them some chicken.
Okay, so alcohol. Just in Philly this past week, you have a kid who climbed up a light pole and did like a swan dive down and died. And you think that, hey, liquor and chicken together, problems are not going to ensue.
Don Julio, specifically Don Julio at that. So yeah, that's but you got to be 21. I mean, you got to be 21 to buy. It's not like you could just walk in there as a minor. So you're not going to have any 14-year-old jumping off the wall unless they get it from their parents or an older relative. But
okay, so now you're telling me that Popeyes employees are now checking IDs, like they are skilled at carding or knowing a fake ID and all this type of stuff. Please, you know how many teenagers are going to be up in there getting, their 5% proof or, liquor high or whatever. I'm like, it'll probably take you about like maybe 4 or 5 chicken sandwiches to feel a buzz or anything even. Like most of the liquor probably cooks off, which is what they're probably not telling you. But
right. But this is that's the disclaimer. Like, listen, you have to be 21. We're not letting kids come in here to purchase this chicken. You got to be 21. That's it. That's all they got. No lawsuit. Their legal team is like, check IDs and you're good.
No, I want to hear the 911 calls afterwards, like the poison control and all that stuff. my kid just got a hold of some chicken, and I think he's drunk.
That's what I was gonna say. We're gonna have to check in next week when we get all the stories of it was an incident here, the kid OD'd or got drunk, and they was eating some chicken. There's a lawsuit against Popeyes for Don Julio. What if they have it where you buy it in the store, but you have to eat it in the store? Maybe that's something. Yo, you gotta eat it here. It's dine in.
If I get full, I can't take it home.
Yo, it's dine in. You can only eat and drink it here. The lemonade is supposed to have Don Julio in it. You can only consume it here. Can't take it out the store with you.
What if you have like an alcohol allergy or something like that? Like I don't know. It just seems, because like people always talk about like when you go to like Starbucks and stuff. I asked for non-decaf. I asked for decaf or non-dairy or whatever. How do you know somebody just they just don't put the liquor chicken in the wrong box or something?
We're gonna find out next week after we get some reporting on incidents related to Popeye chicken. That's what it's gonna be. So we'll find out and report back to the people.
So before we get out of here, you want to make any last minute predictions?
Leave us a comment. Let us know if you like Don Julio. Any predictions for the Grammy? I know Kendrick is probably in there. Definitely Kendrick. I'm trying to think. R&B. I don't really know. I'm like in a fog with R&B. I normally stay up on R&B. Beyonce, maybe with her stuff. I don't know. Country Carter came out after.
Don't try to do Beyonce's country. So
listen, I don't know. I mean, only one I'm looking forward to is Kendrick. That's it. I'm looking for Kendrick.
So all right. So here's what I'm thinking. Right, Kendrick. Where's is on the whole red blood gang, that type of thing, right? And Donald Trump is Republican, red, MAGA, right? And Donald Trump is like America first. So why is Donald Trump's theme song not like the US?
Because that could be taken that it's a black man referencing that white men are not like us versus many men would wish death upon me, the 50 Cent song that he used. I mean, I don't know. We would have to ask Donald Trump, but I think that he would look at that as being like gang related, maybe compared to
but he's saying that
men.
Basically the US is like a gang, like the rest of the world is not like us.
Yeah, but not a black gang. He ain't talking Bloods and Crips. He talking about
he reps the red. He reps the red just like Kendrick.
Okay, so he's a blood member. Like you want him to be aficionado blood member? Like, is that what you're saying? Because he reps the MAGA and the red, that he should be get out of here with that.
I'm like, no, he could cause like a gang treaty or something because he had Snoop performing, so he could bring the Bloods and Crips together.
Who says he's not doing it already? Who says he's not doing it? Trump has been signing shit for the past couple of weeks, like since he got into office. Yeah, let me sign this executive order. Look at the tariff. Did we even talk about the tariff? Listen, with all the tariff, China got a 10% increase. Canada got a 25% increase. Mexico got a 25% increase. The only thing that didn't get
is that racist? Because the Chinese only got 10%, but everybody else got 25%.
Listen, Mexico and Canada is part of this continent. He feels some kind of way. So he's penalizing them. He's like, yo, y'all supposed to be like us. Y'all are on North American soil. What are y'all doing? What are y'all
but he's like, he wants Canada to become the 51st state. So
I know. I got peoples in Canada like, yeah, we're going to be neighbors. I'm like, what? No. I mean, we'll see, but I mean, he's signing whatever he wants. He might have a ploy for Bloods and Crips to come together. We don't know. This man signs whatever he wants. Did you read that Project 2025?
I read some of it. That thing's like 800 pages. It's like 800 pages. I ain't got that much time.
I didn't.
I got the gist of it. I know what it's about.
It's crazy, but we'll see. We'll see. All we know is but I think Kendrick, going back to the Grammys, I think Kendrick is going to be a good look. I'm not a football head, but I have a cousin who's in the NFL, and even then, I'm still not like connected to it like that. So I don't know. It's weird.
I'm like, Taylor Swift is gonna dominate any and everything. So it doesn't really matter unless you're in like a genre specific category.
Right. I like Taylor. I like what she's the highest grossing in concerts. I like her. And her VIP packaging game, like her merch and stuff. It's on, we'll see how the Grammys go. Are you gonna watch it?
Probably not.
It's gonna be streamed on it's gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be on YouTube this year if you don't have cable. I don't have cable. Okay. I got rid of cable. Chuck cable. But it's gonna be on YouTube, Hulu, Paramount, CBS, I think. It's gonna be a couple of places at 8:00.
That just goes to show you how desperate they are to have people watch it.
Well, people are a little distracted with what's going on out there, so it's a sad situation to be celebrating this, and you got people that's lost their homes, but money still gotta go on. Money still gotta get made some type of way, but it's gonna be on YouTube. I don't have cable. Do you have cable?
No.
No, I don't have cable, so I'll be watching it on YouTube because I want to see if Kendrick gets any awards. And he don't really care. That man don't even do interviews. He doesn't care. He dropped an album without even promoting it. Like, he doesn't care. He's just doing what he wants to do. Power to people.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't even think of another rapper that like had a notable year or anything like that.
I mean, nothing more highlighted than Kendrick. Like, what else was there to pay attention to? You have other artists that have done well in categories, but
yeah, I'm like, well, let me take that back. Glow. I want Glorilla to.
She might end up with a nod. Did she get some nominations? I'm sure she did.
Yeah, but I'm saying I wanted to take something home, or I'm like, Megan Thee Stallion put out an album, but that really didn't go around the block. But I think women in hip hop are the dominant force now. Like Doja Cat had that big single, Pink Town Red or whatever. So I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna be up for anything. Yeah. So yeah,
you got that rapper. You got Doechii. Doechii's good. She's opposite of the Gorillas and the Sexy Reds and all of them. So it's a nice little.
Ice Spice probably gonna get something too.
Ice Spice, Lotto dropped, so we'll,
Oh, Nicki Minaj had that song "Everybody," or
Oh yeah, she dropped her album and went on tour. But we'll see. I mean, Grammys are cool, but it don't matter if you don't get one because they still eating. So
man, they didn't give Biggie, DMX, Tupac the Grammys, so I don't care about them because they don't have value. They haven't added value to the top. So I'm like, I can't hold it in high esteem if you ain't holding the top up.
Yeah.
Nas didn't get one until 2020.
Yep. Isn't that crazy though? But he's still for the people. Like he's still out there, whether he got a Grammy or not. He didn't let it define him, and that's good. That's what you want. It doesn't define you. So, I mean, it adds value when you're trying to negotiate and do business, but it still doesn't define you.
I don't think Busta Rhymes has a Grammy. There's a lot of big artists in
Busta. Yeah, hey, speaking of Busta, he just got nominated for a presidential award for prestigious community
knocking
work
somebody
and stuff
out
like that. Listen, that award was already on the way before that incident happened, and he's human. Leave him alone. He's good. He's good for one. Leave him alone. He hasn't been in trouble in years.
But he's been talking a lot of stuff. He's been talking a lot of stuff the past couple years. You know,
He's been talking about how he talking about how great he is. That's what he's talking about.
No, he's talking about Caribbeans and hip hop culture and you know, saying that FBAs didn't have any, you know, weren't the architects of it and whatnot. So yeah, I'm like him and Fat Joe are like, you know, top.
No, but they old heads. They need new energy. No one cares.
Yeah, nobody cared about the album that Fat Joe put out in December or the album that Busta Rhymes put out in January.
No one cares. But he got his money. He went on tour with Ciara and Missy. They hit a couple of cities. No one cares. He's just here to make their money. He got a lot of hits that he can perform and keep it moving, dog. That's it. He can't do a full tour supported by himself. He can't do a 50 tour. 50's like my fake boyfriend. He can't do a 50 tour. So I don't really care. 50 can do a tour by himself. So, you know.
If 50 can do a tour by himself, I think Busta Rhymes can.
I don't think he can. I don't think he can. He hasn't done it. He did the tour with Ciara and Missy Elliott.
I'm like, were they like co-headliners or were they just was somebody opening up for?
No, all three of them. All three of them.
I think he could headline a tour by himself and just have like openers.
I don't think he can. 50 has. I don't think 50 uses openers. I think 50 just have performers come out and do a set. I don't see 50 shows as being openers. Openers is like an artist that still needs some traction, in my opinion. Like Busta would need opening artists, like artists that just got signed or artists that's bubbling. Not like a bigger artist that he could pay them a hefty check to come on tour with him. Not like a 50. 50 have Flo Rida. Something like that. Flo Rida, you got to pay. So I don't think Busta could do that kind of tour. But that's my opinion.
I'm like,
look at your face.
Busta could take like you know, like Lord Tariq and Peter Guns, or you know, some of these other, you know, rappers
that's what I mean.
That have like one or two songs, and then just
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. He can't do a bigger one than that. He has to do something that gives you that very local feel because he never made it to that level. New York knows him. I've never heard his music when I go out of state in years. Like New York plays music because it's home team. But if you think about the artists, when you go out to another state or go to another country, like I remember when I went to Sweden, every like 30 minutes, they were playing 50 Cent. I was like, oh my, they were playing in the bathroom, in the restaurants, in the hotel, the elevator, everywhere was playing 50 Cent. He was so global. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, so the only other person that I know that was doing that would be Jay-Z. I didn't hear no Busta. Even now, you don't hear Busta. You hear him in New York, but not other places. But that's my opinion.
I'm like, put your hands where my eyes can see. That's just global. That song is just out of here.
It's hot. It's a hot song, but it ain't gonna get him overseas. It ain't gonna get him to a lot of territory. It ain't gonna get him in the Midwest. It's not gonna get him a lot of places. He don't have the energy for it. He never had it. And he was on Elektra, so Elektra wasn't that big. He was on Elektra and I think J Records.
Yeah, but I'm like, if he was on Elektra and Missy Elliott was on Elektra, so I'm like, you know, she's big.
She had much more power. Plus she was writing for other people. She was doing a whole lot of other things, so it made sense for her. She was doing a whole lot more behind the scenes, in my opinion.
Anyway, free Diddy so that he'll be able to play Pastor Cavassier when he goes out on tour.
Oh, remember that joint? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that joint with Janet Jackson is a hit. I love that song. What's It's Gonna Be? That's a classic. And I don't think they ever performed that on tour anywhere.
No. But I'm like, you see her, Janet Jackson's not even on tour by herself. She went on tour with Ludacris, and then she went on tour with Nelly. So I'm like, she's not even, doing like a solo tour. She has openers.
If she drop an album, she could do a solo tour and run everything back. If she dropped an album right now, she could run her own tour.
If you told me she dropped an album, I wouldn't know because she's so far off the radar right now.
But I'm saying if she did, she'd be able to run her own tour like how she used to. We can't hate on her. We can't hate on her. Can't hate. And that's what happens when you can't stay relevant enough. There's some artists that could do it. But I think it's just everybody's just growing older, and just the ones I listen to, like they all older. They ain't got no energy now. Like where do they do? Where they going? They in bed by 8. What you want from them?
All right, so yeah, we gave them a solid, decent amount of time, a whole bunch of stories. Keep their mouths watering until next time. Why don't you let the people know where what you got going on? Where
Tell them goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for checking in with us. Catch us next week. I'm LA. That's JT. Yo, hit that Cash App. I want a couple of dollars. Hit the Cash App. Subscribe. We're trying to get this movement going. If you like us, let us know. If you don't like us, let us know. If the colors in my hair too bright, let me know. Yeah, let us know. We'll catch you next week. JT in LA. We live doing recaps. If y'all want something different, let us know. Thanks for having me, JT.
Thank you for coming.
All right. See you next time.